I don't even know, man. It's like I told you, like I feel like in 2016 when we built the 240, right? I feel like 144 as a team is coming so far to be able to accomplish these things under our own roof. It's crazy, dude. Like, I literally feel like I'm in a dream. And I thank my team for that, because it's like we collectively built a team that's allowing us to fulfill dreams, and over time they're coming together. And it's like I literally feel like I did in 2016 when Njuku and Bub helped me build this current car that still operates. Like, I'm super hopeful for like a next level moment in my career with this thing. So we got the car home from fab. The fabrication process took us 8 months. There was all sorts of little hoops we had to jump through to get the engine to be mounted correctly, specifically the oiling system. So the front sump or rear sump wasn't working with our front cross members and the FDF kit. So we had to go dry sump, and this literally burned like a month. This platform in general is just brand new, right? So like the aftermarket support is just now starting to light up in the industry. Needing to create custom race car parts for it are very one of one. So in this, when we got the car home, Accelera as a factory was like, debut this car. And we were like, oh shit, right? Like, it was all hands on deck to wrap the car and present the car as done as possible. So usually when we're building a race car, the livery and the look and the life of it all comes last. In our case, with the factory needing to debut it, it came first. Adrian spent countless nights, like literally, to make the deadline happen. So when Nosatech came through with all of the super flashy wrap, our team in-house designed it, printed it, and applied it. Not even a minute later, Accelera came down, Drew from Tire Streets and Mason flew in to literally just create media behind the launch. The day the factory wanted to debut the car, the dealership we got the car from Toyota at had their Toyota Nationals meet. So we were launching the project socially, like online, while we ended up taking the car to like a public debut where we bought the car. So it was this like really cool alignment moment. For us, I think it brought the team a lot of life because the car came to life, right? And then from there, we're locking in drivetrain. We waited on a rear end and axles, which are now here. And so we pretty much have the full drivetrain laid out, ready to go into the car again so we can start this thing. Obviously, the heart of the project is the engine. And so for me, it was like, I've been in a V8 my entire career, and obviously love the platform, multiple podiums, and a lot of good moments with that style of drifting. But I felt like something was missing personally, as far as like, I really wanted to get back to something that would be challenging and different. So we went down a rabbit hole with the B58 for a second, just trying to keep the newest Toyota parts in the new GR. When we transitioned from the B58 idea to the 2J, things got a lot easier. Other than the engine, we feel super confident, and we're trying to mirror the 240. From quick change rear end, to drive shaft drop axles, to 4-speed gearbox, to small clutch, like all of that's worked really well for us. So that's all something that we don't necessarily have to reinvent. Another super big thing for me with this entire project was kind of putting the money back in the hands of the people I loved and cared for. The engine, for example, we purchased from Rad Dan. So this is a race engine, 2J, 3.4, single turbo, like pro spec engine. And being able to purchase that from him and support him is huge. All of the other logistical things to make a race car happen are fun for me, but like, I'm the driver, right? Like, I love when the car is getting closer to starting and we have everything we need in the shop. I think it would be really cool to get into the specifics of this. So my project manager on this was Adrian. Obviously you guys know Adrian. He's been around for 3 years plus now. So let's cue up Adrian to jump in and talk all things nut and bolt of every single detail on the engine. And I think it will bring some value to you guys.
All right, so as you guys know, this is a fully built 3.4 liter 2JZ from Rad Dan. There's a bunch of work done to this. So there's the CP bottom end, we have a GSC top end. So all this together can easily handle about 1,000 horsepower all day, every day. Now let's get into the accessories. To start the exterior, we could talk about the Hypertune intake. This thing's really big and pretty. Obviously it's huge and will be able to handle the horsepower this thing's gonna demand. These are 1500cc injectors from Deechworks. And then next, I wanna point out the oiling system in this car. It's a 5-stage dry sump from Powerhouse Racing. Super cool, it's all billet, and that's basically the only reason why we can swap it into this GR86. There's some fitment issues with the wet sump, so we had to go dry sump. Moving on to the left side of the engine, we have the Garrett G35 1050. That's bolted to a Virtual Works exhaust manifold and the Turbo Smart wastegates. These are 45mm wastegates. From the wastegates, we also have the Turbo Smart blow-off valve that's bolted to our intercooler. Moving on to the rest of the drivetrain, we have a QuickTime bell housing. This houses our ACT 7 1/4 clutch and flywheel. That will also lead to our Tilton throughout bearing. We basically use the same thing on the 240 that helps us maintain and service very easily. Moving backward, this is all our tried and true stuff that we use on the 240, so all of this math is the same. This is a G-Force GSR 4-speed. It's got the action of the 4-speed, so it's really nice. This thing's super easy to maintain. I love tearing this thing down every year and basically rebuild it. That leads us to our custom drive shaft. And this is all carbon. It's 4-inch, super sturdy. These things never break. So this is new for us this year. It's a Bulldog quick change. It can basically house all our current winter's gears because it's pretty much the same thing. All right, and for the axles, we got Drive Shaft Shop axles. It's a new design from external boot to internal boot, and I think that'll just add an extra layer of protection. Because this has a turbo and we're able to add more boost, we're not stuck to a specific horsepower where we are with the NA setup. So I'll be interested to see how it goes from 800 horsepower, turning it up to 1,000 horsepower. Sometimes we just don't have enough car, and this will aid in being able to stay competitive in some of these events. I think this setup will be very reliable with how much testing Rad Dan has done with the engine and how we know the drivetrain will do. It's never broken on us, it's super reliable, it's easy to maintain. I think it'll be just as good, if not better, than what we have for the 240.
A lot of people are asking about next year with the car. So it's like, yo, what are you gonna do with it? Are you going to FD, right? Like, so to address that, it's like, the coolest part about this project was it was built for a certain moment, right? Like if you guys watched the first episode, you're gonna notice we were talking about that Accelera wanted to put the car in more of a professional setting. But luckily for us as a team, we're gonna get the 2024 season to enjoy the car, learn the car, and really just get comfortable in the car. So expectations for me are get comfortable really quickly, win some of the LZ World Tours and go to Grid Lifes and Hyperfest and like enjoy the car as a team to basically sharpen us up for that big moment to come. I want to transition into the 2JZ platform so smooth that the industry realizes like Nate can drive really well and it's not just the V8 hack that makes him win races. So this is the part where it gets super exciting, dude. Like this is the part where momentum's built up, all the pieces of the puzzle are here in our shop, we're throwing this drivetrain in the car, and we're gonna take it to SEMA. So the road to SEMA continues. We're in booth 20613 with DEI. We've got one more polished episode coming up after this. Engine, drivetrain, and cars coming together, and we're going to Vegas. Watching clouds, I'll be pulling in the solo. No, she bad, yeah. Let me get your number. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping color. I can